Awesome. Well, welcome, Kevin, to Zoom. Nice to have you here. I'm here in Otautahi. My name is Jess, for anyone who doesn't know me. And on the other end of the screen is Kevin Hapi from Christchurch. Welcome, Kevin. How are you today?
Good, thank you very much. How are you
Awesome.
going?
Pretty good, thank you. Pretty good, thank you. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about Pa Whakaoranga, which is an initiative that you're part of. So I'm going to kick off with the first question. Can you just tell me what is Pa Whakaoranga?
So Pa Whakaoranga means to bring healing or to revive. And so for us here, it used to be Iona Presbyterian Church here in Naranui, and we wanted to bring a new name, new start for us, new beginning for everyone. And what we want to see here in the area is to see healing and revival and yeah, place of healing is probably what we're big about. Um, yeah.
That's awesome. So where have you guys been and where are you hoping to go with Pa Whakaoranga?
So I guess a bit about my background. Um, I've worked in this area for a long time. I live in the area and have been here for a while. So I've worked in the youth centre in a Christian organisation. I've worked with young offenders at Waranga Tamariki now. I've worked with other NGOs and working with families and kids at risk and youth at risk in different areas. And I ended up here, which was really pretty cool because I live around the corner. Um, bringing, I guess, my ideas and skills and what I think God's up to.
Hmm.
Quite fortunate to be able to go dream, go see what God's up to, and see what happens. Like I like that. Like that's pretty cool adventure, if you ask me. But
Yeah,
we're
that's
very
awesome.
blessed and privileged to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, what are some of the things that you've learned on this journey of where you've got to so far?
Oh yeah, good question. I've had to learn to be patient. And I feel like at the beginning I just wanted to go, 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 go. I felt like I had to, I don't know, do 1,000 things and have all this stuff happening. But I've learnt, well, I'm still learning. One, to be patient. Two, to go at God's pace.
Mm.
Um, and three, to filter out my own ideas from God's ideas. Well, God's been doing the
Mm.
filtering actually. So I've got a whole lot of ideas, and some have worked and not worked. But the best ones that have happened down here so far have been when God's organised it. And I don't say that lightly. It's been I've had encounters with certain people that have just got things rolling. Things I never planned in my head at the time that fits in with the vision down here.
That's
So a
cool.
good example would be a guy called Zan. I get a phone call. I don't know who Zan is. He said, "Hey, I hear you might have a building I can use. Can I use your building?" And I'm going, "Oh, okay. Let's meet and talk first." So Zan's just come out of the gangs around here. He's spent most of his life on it, and now he's trying to help young people move away from those places. And he was starting off on his own, and then needed a place to work. So we met, we talked, we connected. He's become a Christian as well, um, and I just said, "Yeah, go use the building." And so through his mahi down here, I get to meet a whole lot of people that he brings into the space,
Mm.
and it's been a really cool journey just meeting the different people he brings into the space. So, and we now meet together for Bible study and prayer and that kind of stuff as well. Um,
That's cool.
yeah, so I had envisioned that, put it that way.
So, how do you sort of filter that? Like, um, what's Kevin's ideas and what's God's ideas?
Some of it's just having a go.
Yeah,
Like, you've got nothing to lose by having a go.
yeah,
You just find out whether it works or not. Yeah, so I've had to go some stuff. Well, I've got heaps of ideas. People around me know that I've got all these ideas floating around in my head. And so I just have a go. The door opens, the door opens. If the door doesn't, it doesn't.
yeah,
And
and
then,
then you
but
just
then,
let it be.
yeah, and then there's been times when Zan come along out of the blue and go, oh, yeah, that fits in. And there was
Yeah,
another lady called Manawa. And so we met through some other situation, but she wanted to do gardening. and she loved gardening. And I said, "Oh, we've got a backyard that nothing's happening in there. You want to do some gardening in there?" So, yeah, so she's gardening away there. She gets food, and people help her sometimes, and she gives the food away to people that come through here.
Awesome.
Again, that wasn't on my mind because I don't like gardening,
Yeah,
but she does. So, yeah, so that's working really well.
that's cool. So you've got the gardening and then this other guy that uses the
Oh,
buildings,
darn.
Zan. What are
And I
some of the
forgot.
other projects and
Oh, there's Raphael. So Raphael's our carver. He's
yep.
been with me for the last 2 or 3 years before I even come here. So again, he's a local. He's working for another organisation at that stage, and then we got some work together in a couple of schools for him to do some carving. And then he actually needed a space, so we had a garage that we weren't using. So he's in there now doing all this carving. We support him. We support him through the Alpine Fund, 10 hours a week. But he also does some stuff for himself on the side. So, well, not
Yeah.
on the side, but he does some other stuff to top up his wage type thing. So it's kind of like they call it like a social enterprise a wee bit, where he's helping us out here, but he's also doing some stuff himself to keep him going. We have a community day where people on Wednesday can come in and have a go at carving it. We don't charge them to do that; they can just come in. So again, that brings different types of people through,
Yeah,
and I get to meet them, talk to them. It's great,
that's
and
awesome.
slowly we're building a wee community. Really,
So it sounds like Pa Whakaoranga has become a bit of a like community hub.
yeah, probably a good way of putting it. Yeah, I see it as like a Te Ao Maori place where you can come and try different aspects of our culture, like carving. I like to see weaving programs happening. I like to see some te reo classes. These are my dreams now. And I like to see waiata and kapahaka being learnt.
Awesome.
And so I teach maara and taha as well. That's mainly in the schools, but I have a young person, another guy that does that. So I like to see that kind of space happening where people can come down and have a go at that kind of stuff. I
Yep.
mean, yesterday I had a guy come down who's going through some stuff, and he looked at the carving and goes, "Oh, I can't do carving," and he saw some pounamu that's in my window here, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to have a go at pounamu." I went, "That's a good idea." So he'd like to have a go at doing some pounamu, and I've been going down that pathway learning pounamu myself. I
Yeah.
thought, "Oh, okay." So and then my work colleagues then said, "We should look at doing some pounamu stuff down here." I went, "Yeah, I agree. Let's look into that." So again, it's not something really visioned, but it could be a need for it. I'm not too sure. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
That's so cool. So what does it mean for you to be the hands and feet of Jesus in your community?
Oh, I guess the way I see my life, whether it's working or not working, that you can't turn God off, right? You can't just turn your Christianity on and off. So I'm hoping that I am the same wherever I go. That I'm
Mm.
not just one person at work and then a different person at home. I guess you have to ask my wife and kids that one. I try and be consistent, but my
Yeah.
hands and feet. I think it's a big responsibility.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of when you start putting yourself out there and say, "Hey, I'm a Christian. I do this, blah blah blah." People watch, people talk, people observe you, and I think for me, it's been okay that, or letting people know that it's okay that I screw up, and
Mm.
yes, you're gonna see some stuff on there. You go, "That's not Christian," or "That's not. Is that good?" And I don't try and hide that. I tell people like I'm on a journey as well.
Mm.
That it's not me trying to excuse my sin or my mistakes, but it's you seeing me at work with Christ in the sense that Christ is still at work in me to bring changes. He's at work in all of us to bring changes. Let's go on that journey together. So get away from the idea Christians are perfect, because we're
Yeah.
not. Everyone knows that. But I think
Yeah.
sometimes we are guilty of coming across that way.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be me in my journey of God with the people that I encounter, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And walking alongside them in their journeys with God,
Yeah,
wherever that is,
yeah.
whether they know him not
So
yet. So whether they know him
yeah,
or not.
yes, yeah.
That's
There's
awesome.
been that light and salt, I call it. So, um, yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
What
I
is
wouldn't
it
have
that
it any
you
other way.
find most life-giving and refreshing about your role?
Oh, I can just be me. I haven't
Yeah.
got a. When you've come from a, most people should understand when you work from a 9 to 5 kind of job, and you've got things you have to click in and click out, and you got to meet certain targets, and you have to do certain reports, and you have to do this and that. It's quite refreshing for me to be not have all that pressure.
Mm.
Not having to worry about, like when I first started, I feel like I had to have, I met with 30 people this week. And I started at 8 and I finished here, and then I started this day and that day, and all that was like, it was hard to get used to, of
Mm.
having to, I don't know, track things down and justify your presence down here. Because some days it's quiet, some days you're not doing jack, and you feel guilty for that. Like, I feel like I should be doing more, do something,
Mm.
or maybe I should be running around chasing people around or something, or you know what I mean? I just love the idea that there's no pressure like that to perform. Maybe that's a better word.
Yep.
It's not performance based. We had a talk last couple of weeks ago at a hui, and the topic was, how do you catch the data? How do you catch what you're doing? How do you do that? How do you know if what you're doing is successful? Well, my question is, well, I can ask, like, well, we can't do it like the world does it, because the world's always looking for numbers and all
Mm.
these stories where, if you look at the disciples, their lives ended in tragedy from the
Mm-hmm.
world's perspective. People chasing them out of cities and trying to kill them, and they end up getting killed. So our story could be similar, that people don't like us, or they might abuse us, or they might try and shut this place down, or and does that mean it's not working? It could be opposite. It could mean like, hey, you're hitting the nail on the head because now you're upsetting people in the right way. So interesting topic. I don't know if you can bring some of
Definitely.
the world's views into a Christian ministry. I think you can, but not. I think you have to pick and choose and be very wise about what we see as success and not success.
Yeah.
Um,
It's definitely
yeah.
a difficult thing to measure when you're working with people. Um, what
Mm,
what progress or what does success look like? But I always like
yeah.
to think it's in the quality of those relationships, not in the quantity. Um,
Mm,
it's
yeah.
that those people that you connect with on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis know that um, you're someone they can go to when times are tough and when times are good and everything in between, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I think I asked earlier, one of the keys for us down here is having people that are involved have ownership on what we're doing as well.
Mm.
So I don't tell Raphael how to do his work. He
Mhm.
knows how to carve. I'm not there to tell him how to do his carving
Yeah,
or how to do things. So we advise each other about stuff. So I might go, oh, can we do this? He goes, oh, we can do this. And then, so you said it before, it's about a relationship.
yeah,
We also have a cell group. We meet down here every fortnight. And the cell group, again, is, I think, a very vital part to the work down here. Again, the cell group is about us looking after each other. Like, don't look to me for all the answers, because I will let you down.
yeah,
So we try and create a spot in the cell group where people's gifts and passions can blossom, where they can run with what they want to do. It's not me doing it. I don't want to. I don't want to do it all. I don't want
yeah,
to do. I shouldn't have to do it all. We should do it together.
yeah,
So if you're looking for, say, pastoral care, maybe someone else in this group's got good pastoral giftings,
yeah,
you can go and talk to. Or if someone's good at bringing teaching, then you share each week. That
yeah.
kind of thing. So let's not rely on me to do it. Let's rely on us to work it out together.
Mm.
It takes a wee while for people to buy into that, because they're used to coming from a church where the pastor tells you what he wants and he'll do it. Who he
Yeah,
wants, where he wants, what's our mission, who's going to do what, when, and how. They control everyone when it may not. Your idea may not fit the vision of the minister.
yeah,
So what do you do with that? Most people end up leaving. What I
yeah,
see anyway. Or they sit there bored. at church because there's no connection for them. There's no output for their desires because they don't fit in with the ministry or the ministry at the time that goes on. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to put church, but having the one structured place like that, it can kill other people's passions and ideas because sometimes people want to go out in the world and do stuff, and the church wants everything done in here, the church.
Yeah.
Church building. We got to kind of get away from that to a degree, yeah.
It sounds like you're sort of creating an environment where like people can discover and develop their own talents and spiritual gifts and their own like purpose and ideas and mission and what God's calling them into as well, which is so exciting.
Yeah. I've been asked, are you going to start a church up? And I said, well, if you talk about a Sunday, no. If that happens, that's kind of out of my hands. It's going to have to be a God thing. But for me, there's plenty of churches around here already. You don't need to reinvent another church for you to go to on a Sunday. What I'd like to see, though, is that we become more of a community of people that gather every day of the week, whether it's coming to carving, whether it's doing weaving, or whether it's doing Te Ao Maori language stuff. Like we're gathering around the interests that are here, and we build a community around that interest of other people. So in some ways, so the carving is like a connector. People come, they could be shy, but after a month or two, maybe they're talking to someone and maybe they get to know people. To me, we become a church that way, and then we interact with each other, and then maybe we might do some stuff together. If it turns into a church on Sunday, well, keep the pie. But I don't see that at this stage anyway. I mean, who knows? God could change that. But people have been asking. But I want us to be more of a community-based thing where we do this during the week, not just a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Well, at the end of the day, that is church, eh? It's the people, not the place or the time, 10 a.m. time slot on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's the people that gather for the purpose of worshiping God and being family together. So
and the people that are running the programs are building the relationships with people. They're the ones that are going to build with the people that are learning the carving or going to learn weaving and that kind of stuff. So it's good to have a team of people that are kind of like that stuff as well and want to be involved in that stuff and can be part of the journey with people and building relationships. So, like, have we got time? I'm just thinking about when I first got saved, I loved league. So I played rugby league and I really loved it. And it was everything I wanted to do was that. Everything else kind of comes secondary. I got saved, short version, I got saved. And so I quit league because in my mind was my God. Like I said, okay, I'm quitting league, I'm not playing league anymore. And then my coaches were asking me if they're coming back. My mates go, I've got training coming up. I said, I'm not playing. My dad's going, you're not playing league? I said, no. Why? And I said, I'm going hunting for God. I said, what's that? I said, just going to go full on for God. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm just going to go to every Bible study, every pre-meeting, any service that's on, I'm in. And I don't want to play league anymore because I don't want to put league first because I get a bit obsessive. Probably after 3 or 4 months, I really felt God challenged me about going back to league. I really felt God saying, no, go back to league. And I keep going, no, I don't want to go back to league. No, I want to follow you, God. I want to go to every service. I'm going to every prayer meeting and every Bible study. I'm going. Every cell group, this one, I'm going. And God said, no, I want you to go back. And I said, but why? He said, because your friends don't know me. And you do like league. So why go back? Like, I didn't like soccer, so why would I go and play soccer to try and reach people? But I like league. So God's going, go back and play league and be a witness for me there. I mean, I didn't get to share with my mates. They were all trying to get me stoned and drunk for the first year. The second year, they were starting to ask questions. The first year was a test to see whether I was legit. They all just thought, oh, you're going through a hard time, Kevin. We know why you're a Christian. You'll be back with us, blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing. And then they asked me, they try to get me stoned or get me drunk, and I would say no to it all. The second year, they took me seriously.
Yeah.
And then quietly, one by one, they would ask me stuff. That makes sense to me, to go to something that you enjoy rather than go to somewhere you don't like to enjoy, look awkward, feel awkward, don't know how to relate to the people, not really into it. God took me to a place I was comfortable with and liked, and I had doing it. I had doing any sort of respect for my mates to be able to share my faith with them. Probably
Yeah.
overdid it a little bit. They probably tell you that. Maybe I Bible bash too much. But again, there was a learning curve.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
bump
the
into them,
league field is just as much a mission field as anywhere else, eh?
well, yeah, they used to say that God played rugby, but he actually played league. I saw him out on the
Love
league
it.
field, even though Michael Jones was running around ripping, but I saw God do some amazing things in my
Yeah.
time playing league. Like they would ask me to do the prayer before we went out and played, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So to me, I was like, oh, little wee things, but big things, eh?
Yeah,
But
totally. They are little things, but they have eternal big difference. So that's amazing. Cool. Well, I have one last question for you before we finish. And that is, what advice do you have for anyone that is wanting to undertake a similar journey in their community? Not replicate what you guys are doing in Christchurch, but um, pioneer something new in their own community. What advice would you give?
I don't know actually. Just go ahead and give it a go. That's always been my philosophy. Kind of like just have a go and see what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Um, yeah, trial and error. I don't know if that's safe or not, but for me, you've got nothing to lose. So I always believe that when one door closes, another door opens, but you have to go to the door and try and
Yes.
open it. Sitting back wondering, and prayer is obviously important. But at some point, you got to make a decision because sometimes I don't know about other people, but sometimes you're not too sure about the answer. You're going to go, oh yes, maybe no. I'm not too sure. So just jump out and see what happens. What do
That's
you got to
cool.
lose?
Awesome. Do you want to finish by telling us what it is that you're holding in your hand?
Oh, yes. This is the tifa tifa. I teach marako, but I cut it out, and Zen drew the picture, and Raphael carved it up for me. I've always wanted one. That's all. So I love it. It's really really nice. So
Beautiful.
Raphael put it. Zen did all the drawings on it, and Raphael carved it. But he's spent ages carving it. So he's put
Mm,
a lot of time into this. So I'm quite blessed really.
that's really
Um,
special.
Sits here in my office because yeah, or take it in my car sometimes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for meeting with me today and sharing the story to date of Pa Whakaoranga. And I look forward to the next installment, maybe in a few years' time, to see what you guys have been up to and how God has been working in you and within the space that you've created there. And hopefully we get to come back
Nice.
and visit sometime.
Yeah, nice. Can I have this last thing?
Go for it.
Yeah, I think I could, for Alpine to make a move towards allowing a church to have Maori stuff here is a really big step. So it's a good partnership. So I believe we as Christians can show New Zealand how the treaties should be implemented with with church and Te Ao Maori, Pākehā Maori working side by
Mm,
side. So like I take my hat off to Martin and the team and others that are putting funding into this project and to trust me and Zen in the community down here to use the building here to be able to create a place of Te Ao Maori. A lot of people get blown away by what we do down here because they go, "You're allowed to do carvings out of the church?" I'm going, "Yeah." Oh, really? Like that's interesting. Like I think North Island's way ahead of us when it comes to some stuff.
mm,
Christchurch may be a bit more reserved, but especially in our area here, people are really like quite blown away by the whole thing of. And I guess I don't know if this is common around Christchurch, but to have Māori in leadership in a church is a big thing.
mm.
I don't know if people realise that, but from my perspective, it is.
Yep,
You don't see many. Well, I haven't seen many Māori leaders, and the ones I do know have passed away.
yep,
Um, but to be trusted by Alpine Presbyterian Church to have a couple of buildings down here and the freedom to go see what God's up to and do whatever they want.
mm.
I mean, yeah, that's amazing. That's an
That
amazing
is
step forward for Alpine.
amazing
Yeah, it is. It's a good story. It's a really powerful story, if you ask me.
for sure. And it's really cool that we get to share this story. So I hope everybody
Yeah,
that's tuned in has enjoyed it. And we'll put the Put Kevin's contact details if you want to know more down below, and you can give him a call or an email.
Yep, no worries.
Right.